This is Copper 90, and these are the top 10 worst on-field assaults from around the UK. At 10, it's Lee Bowyer versus Kieran Dyer. Back in 2005, Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer clashed in front of 50,000 people at a packed-out St James's Park during a game against Aston Villa. Dyer had refused to pass the ball to his teammate, and when confronted by Bowyer, he simply stated, "It's because you're shit." Bowyer responded aggressively and started punching his midfield partner as the pair faced off. Both were dismissed by referee Andy Durso before they continued to swing at each other down the tunnel. Years later, Dyer stated, "When he was reining the punches in, I thought, you need to get on the weight because they aren't hurting." Both players received bans and fines from the club and the FA, with Bowyer later being charged by Northumbria Police. At 9, it's Nigel Pearson versus James McArthur. Struggling with his team marooned to the bottom of the Premier League, Leicester City manager Nigel Pearson was a man under pressure. He already told a fan to F off only a few weeks before, and his anger was again on show in a home game against Crystal Palace. With Palace 1 up, their midfielder James McArthur chased a lost cause as the ball rolled out of play and accidentally collided with Pearson. It all seemed harmless enough until Pearson grabbed McArthur round the throat and looked to throttle him before refusing to let go of his shirt as he tried to free himself. The FA contacted Pearson about the incident, but no charges were made. At 8, it's Roy Keane versus Gareth Southgate. It wouldn't be a complete list if Roy Keane didn't make an appearance. The former Manchester United captain has had many a moment staring straight up at a red card, but his first in English football was probably his best. During a United Palace clash in the FA Cup in 1995, Gareth Southgate went to ground and clipped Keane's recently injured ankle. The Irishman reacted in a ferocious manner by stamping down on Southgate's groin, not once but twice. Keane was sent off and fined £5,000 for bringing the game into disrepute, and to this day, the Irishman views the stamp as the only regret he has had in his career. In at 7, it's former Liverpool striker Luis Suarez, who just loves a bit of controversy. In April 2013, Liverpool faced Chelsea at Anfield in a typically fiery affair. With Liverpool trailing 2-1 in the 73rd minute, Suarez came together with Ivanovic and bit down on his arm. The incident went unpunished as the referee hadn't seen the bite, and Suarez added insult to injury by scoring a 97th minute equaliser. Days after the event, Suarez was fined by Liverpool and was handed a 10-game ban by the FA. It wasn't the first time Suarez was banned for biting, as he'd received a 7-game ban for something similar whilst playing for Ajax. It wouldn't be the last either, as he got a 4-month ban for biting Italy defender Giorgio Chiellini in the 2014 World Cup. At 6, it's Ben Thatcher's elbow. In a game between Man City and Portsmouth in 2006, with the ball running out of play, Ben Thatcher challenged Portuguese midfielder Pedro Mendes, viciously elbowing him in the process. The attack knocked Mendes out and sent him flying into the advertising boards. Whilst Mendes had to spend a few nights at the hospital after having a seizure after the challenge, Ben Thatcher was only shown a yellow card. Man City banned the player for 6 matches, and the FA suspended him for a further 8 matches for this sickening attack. At 5, it's then Newcastle manager Alan Pardew. In March 2014, Newcastle were in cruise control leading 3-1 away to Hull. But things changed when Mailer pushed past Pards as the ball rolled off near the technical area. As the two came together, the red mist swiftly descended on Pardew, who then pushed his head into the midfielder's face. Pards was promptly sent off and suspended for a Premier League record 7 matches and fined £60,000 by the FA, as well as £100,000 by Newcastle for his shameless act. At 4, it's Alan Shearer kicking Neil Lennon. During a league game against Leicester in 1998, England and Newcastle captain Alan Shearer kicked out at Neil Lennon whilst he was laying on the ground, catching him with a perfect hit to the face. The referee took no action against Shearer and the game continued. After the match, the incident was investigated by the FA, but Super Al got away without any punishment, as Lennon bizarrely gave evidence in his defence. Years later, former FA chief Graham Kelly claimed Shearer had threatened to withdraw himself from the 1998 World Cup squad if the charges were upheld. At 3, it's Joey Barton against Man City. What was Joey Barton thinking? Well, according to him, it was a cold, calculated decision. The former QPR captain was fighting for his side's Premier League status on the last day of the 2011-2012 season against a Man City side who were on the cusp of winning their first ever Premier League title. Barton being Barton, wanted to be the centre of attention, and so elbowed Tevez in an off-the-ball incident. Moments later, he was red-carded, and in response, Barton kicked Aguero and head-butted Company. He was handed a 12-game suspension and was fined £75,000. At 2, it's Duncan Ferguson. In the 35th minute of a Rangers vs Raith Rovers clash in 1994, Duncan Ferguson had a moment of madness. Following what looked like a bit of tussling by Jock McStay, the big striker landed a textbook headbutt on the defender. Incredibly, The referee, who was standing next to the players at the time of the incident, awarded a free kick and nothing more. However, after the match, the Scottish FA and authorities took action and the striker was jailed for 44 days. Duncan Ferguson was already on probation at the time following 2 previous charges for assault, and in entering prison he became the first British international player to be jailed for assaulting a fellow professional on the field of play. And of course at number 1, it's Eric Cantona's Kung Fu kick. Eric Cantona is known for many things. That chip against Sunderland, ending United's 26-year wait for a title, and of course that fateful night against Palace in 1995. Aware of his influence to Man United, Crystal Palace centre-back Richard Shaw was the man tasked with trying to man-mark Eric Cantona out the game. The duo tussled all game, with tackles flying in from both, but in the 48th minute, Cantona retaliated to a Shaw tackle by kicking out at him. He was red-carded straight away, but it was what happened next that grabbed the headlines. Upon being escorted off the pitch, Cantona clocked a Palace fan in the crowd throwing insults his way, and in a moment of absolute madness, the French striker jumped into the crowd and karate kicked him. Cantona was banned from football for 9 months, narrowly avoiding any sentence as he was given 120 hours of community service. That was Copper 90's top 10 worst on-field assaults from around the UK. Did we miss any? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.